this was first known about in this game. And here we have a difficulty selection: normal, crazy, hard, easy. And there are tons of mazes you can do. You can do the original arcade, strange mazes, big maze, mini maze. And you can start on any level between 1 and 7. So, for the pack booster, at the beginning it was off, but now we could just say use A or B or always on. I always like to press use A or B because if you keep it on, then you'll end up just going out of control. Keep it off, then you'll get caught by the ghosts much more easily in later levels. So I think I'll just use it when I need it. Easy, no. I'm gonna do normal mode, and the mazes are basically the same as the other one. So I'm going to do the big maze, and we're going to start at level 5 just because that's my favorite. Or wait. Yeah, we'll start at level 5. I didn't mean to save, but whatever. Huh. And it was a good idea. So welcome to the strange world. And now unlike the other NES ports, these pack dots actually do... The pack dots actually do slow you down. And also there's this weird glitch for this maze that just leaves those eyes flying like that. Just keep flying in the same spot over and over. I mean, if you think this is so tedious, you think I do, because I know it is. You can just use the pack booster to just quickly go through all those. Now, due to the length of this is probably gonna be a two-parter. And oh god. I don't give a crap. I'm starting at the beginning. I forgot to save, so this is a good idea that I do so. So let's see if I can trick these ghosts. Alright. So now we've moved on to the next level. Oh, and I forgot about Axe. Yes. Ms. Pac-Man, all the Pac-Man games, they each had cutscenes. And I believe Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man both had 3 cutscenes. But one important thing to note is that in Junior Pac-Man for the arcades, there were much more scenes. I would show you, but it's just a lot of work. So let's watch this scene. It's basically Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man chasing after each other. So that is Ms. Pac-Man for the NES, the Tengen version. More ports, anybody? Here's one that I really love. This is Pac-Mania for the NES. It was unlicensed once again, and it was licensed, well, it was made by Tengen. Here we have a maze selection, but the jungly steps cannot be selected at all. And since this is probably somebody's first time looking at this, Blocktown, I would do Blocktown, but it's easy enough, so I'll just go to Pac-Man's Park, which is very appropriate because this is the maze that started it all. And in every maze is every ghost has I'll say many ghosts have different colors. You already know Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. I forgot to mention who they were, but do I really have to tell you? Okay, Blinky is the red ghost, Pinky is of course pink, Inky is of course the blue one, and Clyde is yellow. And there's also this purple one, you see her down there, that's Sue. And later on in stages, you'll see more ghosts. There's Funky, who is the blue. Sometimes in later levels he comes as a duplicate as well. Scan starred. Thankfully I'm using Nestor J, so I don't have to worry about all that. This was actually one of the first emulators I've ever used. I used this when I was on consoleclassics.com. And yeah, there's a purple ghost, no, there's a black ghost that you saw Funky and Spunky, yeah, Spunky's the black one's name. You saw those two ghosts that were in the cutscene there. In this version, he jumped, oh yeah. Okay, time to explain a little more. The funky ghosts, the green ones, how do I explain this? They jump, but not as high as Pac-Man, but if you time it incorrectly, then you won't get by them. As for Spunky, in this particular port of it, he jumps just as high as you. Thankfully, there aren't two of them in any level of the game, so yeah, if there were two of them, then that would be a nightmare, and if they were to corner you, there'd be no way to escape. However, I have the original arcade port on Namco Museum Remix for the Wii, and I discovered that the Black Ghosts actually, they still do hop, but they still hop the same height as Funky, so they're much less of a threat in the arcade port. And something I should have mentioned right from the start is, crap. If you keep these ghosts alive long enough, they will turn around, and every time they turn around, they'll get faster. They could do this up to 4 times, and then after the 4th time, then it'll just be the same. It'll just be at the fastest speed. And as you may have saw there, Blinky had his signature angry eyes. So yeah, Blinky is of course the fastest. Pinky and Sue go at the same speed. They're a little slower. Inky's slower. Clyde is slower. And Clyde and Funky go at the same speeds. And Spunky is the slowest of the ghosts. Yeah. That's pretty much all I have to say about this. I would show you other ghosts, but it would take a while for me to get there, so I'll leave that for you to discover. Man, this was bloody long. Alright. See you in part 2. That's all I have to say. See you in part 2.